You go, boy.
Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga. Whoa. Woo. Secure the bag, I need more. Hey, 3P Jordan. Whoa. Woo. I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe. I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme with my niggas in Amsterdam.
Give me some bombs. Give me some everything.
Cannon.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, keep those. I like those. Yeah. Just empty the bag. Empty them.
You go,
Let's
boy.
Let's get it. Where's my camera? Where's my camera? Hey world, it's your boy, U-Goboy.
You go, boy.
Episode 17. You see this face? You see that face? It's about that time for some sports talk. What's up, buddy?
Let's roll.
Oh, man. So, boy, U-Goboy, that's Mongo. You already know that. Episode 17 of the U-Goboy podcast. Live from Bravery Studios. In lovely Garfield, New Jersey. Oh, man. So much sports talk. We got a lot to recap, a lot to preview. Oh, this is gonna be a spicy meatball, as you would say.
Ooh.
I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped, man.
Learned that in Italy?
Yes, I did.
You're traveling?
I did. Shout out to Italy once again. Oh man. So yeah, episode 17, sports talk. Quick numbers once again. We are closing in rapidly on 700,000 views on the YouTube channel.
Wow.
Give me that Chris Tucker. Is this what you want? Give me that Chris Tucker. Huh?
Is this what you want?
Yahtzee. Oh man, it's coming. A million is coming.
Wow.
A million is coming. I'm super excited. It's coming. I sent you the all the time video. You check that out.
Watch it. Hey, here's everyone's homework. It's real quick. Watch that all the time. Check it out. Oh my gosh.
Yo, all the time's out as of today. It'll probably be up by the time we publish this one, but that's at 62,000 views right now.
62,003, by the way. Now you sent it to me about an hour and a half. I've already watched it 3 times. It's that good.
Yes.
Check it out.
Give me another Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker's here.
Is this what you want?
I'm loving it. So yes. Rapidly closing on 700,000 on the YouTube channel. We're only a couple ticks away from 300,000 views on TikTok. Give me another Chris Tucker. We're gonna break the Chris Tucker. Rush Hour 4 is filming today.
Empty it out. Let's do it.
I love it. So, as always, round of applause. Thank you for all the subscribers, all the followers, old subscribers, new subscribers across all the platforms. You're blowing up the channel. You're blowing up the music. We got Mongo merch on the way. And speaking of merch, U-Goboy merch on the way. U-Goboy merch on the way. Mongo's got the dad hat. Thank you, Jeff Bezos. He's got the zip-up hoodie. We love you, Jeff. I got the pullover hoodie. I got the Jeff Bezos hat. All available in the link below. New merch coming too. Mongo and U-Goboy merch side by side. Animated merch on the way. Shout out to Dan DiCarlo. He's going to hook that up for us. Shout out to Teesprings. All the sponsors. And we've got a sponsor too. Let me get to that one early before we start. We have our first sponsor. Shout out to ThingsGalore.com. There's my camera. ThingsGalore.com. My older brother, Kingsley Oneonta, or King Sensei, however what he wants to go by. He has his own website. I think he has a partnership with Etsy, so he sells AI-inspired art that he does himself. Super, super talented, man. I'm super proud of him. Round of applause to my big brother. The first official sponsor of the U-Goboy podcast. We're going to have artwork from time to time. We'll bring new artwork pieces on here. We'll have him on here at some point to plug it as well. Marv's going to buy some pieces. Mongo's going to buy some pieces. I'm going to buy some more pieces. This is the first piece I bought. We got another bigger one at the crib. But yes, thingsgalore.com. Get yourself some amazing artwork. Love you, brother. So now the housekeeping's out the way.
All right.
It's about that time for sports talk. Can I get another Chris Tucker? I'm just in a Chris Tucker, brother.
Is this what you want?
This is brought to you by Rush Hour 4. Now filming. So a lot to get to, Mongo. Sports talk is coming at you.
Absolutely.
Let's first and foremost let's recap. WrestleMania! WrestleMania 39 in SoFi broke every single record possible. Triple H couldn't wait to talk about those numbers afterward.
I hear there are people still trying to leave the stadium.
Yes.
There's still a line.
There's people still at SoFi. They're not going to make it out until the Rams kick it off or the Chargers kick off in the fall. Oh, my goodness. What a two-night spectacle. I was in Massachusetts doing 5 shows and 5 nights myself on my own WrestleMania tour with the world-famous Harlem Wizards.
Nice.
So gotta stay preoccupied, gotta pay the bills. You know what I mean? So, but I was able to catch the main event on both nights. I was able to catch a couple of really my favorite matches. The Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley match, 2 of my faves. I've been in love with Rhea Ripley since NXT, like everybody else. I'm so super happy she finally beat Charlotte. The two of them have had some history, including Charlotte beating Rhea at the empty stadium WrestleMania a couple of years back ago.
Empty stadium. I forgot about that.
Yes,
to be honest.
I did not. I did not.
It's very hard to get that in my mind.
It's burned in there. But no, that was a great full circle moment. Let's recap a couple of the big matches before we get into the meat and potatoes. We got a lot coming at you guys. WrestleMania recap. What else? We've got NFL draft preview coming at you. We've got a NFL free agency recap coming at you. And last but not least, our beloved New York Yankees. There's Aaron Judge. He's here. He's
still wearing that uniform correctly.
And still wearing that uniform. John Heyman, Kick Rocks.
Sorry, Giant fans.
Yes, so MLB preview as well. So a lot coming at you. We're gonna fit it in there. We'll get going. Let's first kick it off. WrestleMania. You got to say it with the pizzazz. So let's start at the tippy top. The big controversial finish with the tribal chief Roman Reigns. You got to put the ones up. He retains against Cody Rhodes. Give me your recap, Mongo. Was it the right move? Did you see it coming? What are your thoughts on that controversial finish? A lot of people thought it was a slam dunk for Cody, including myself. I don't know how you felt. What are your thoughts on that?
So let's start with the outcome. I actually had Reigns winning that one.
You did?
So yes.
Okay. Mongo was right.
Haha.
Get a Dom DeMarco for that, please.
I got most of the rest wrong, so we'll take the ones where we can get them.
Yeah.
But no, I loved in general. And again, I don't want to get too much into the overall because I know you said we do that, but
yeah.
I loved that some of the night felt fairly ordinary, and I really feel that was by design because let's be real, this is really Reigns and Zayn's world.
We're all living in it.
We're all just living in
facts,
it.
big facts there.
Letting anyone else try and get too much plot would have been, very grim. So you can't just have those two things happen. It would be 35 zillion hours of meaningless television otherwise. So they did.
Marv likes that. We got Marv on the boards, by the way.
So anywhere they could, they had to expand on those storylines. And what I really love that they did was they made Sami Zayn's weekend as perfect as they humanly could. He came out, even when he was on the wrong side of that main event, he came out looking really strong in his contribution when he comes out with Kevin Owens to try and turn the tide. They win the belts the night before.
Yes, they did.
And so his weekend was pretty much perfect. Meanwhile, even though Reigns ends up with the belt, he has to go back to the drawing board looking at he needed all hands on deck cheating to help him win. His boys lost the belts the night before.
Yep.
He comes out with even more heat on him, which we know he loves, but he definitely doesn't come out looking clean. And they do a great job here of, even though Reigns and Zayn both come out as strong on paper as they humanly can be. They're still 1 and 2 in the power rankings. Zayn just has this dream weekend, and Reigns is left kind of figuring it out. And I think that was brilliantly done by them because now when you flash forward to Monday, you want Reigns in that position of making moves because he has all the pawns, so he's the one who should be making moves. So I really like what they did there.
Okay, give me a Chris Tucker, another one. Why not? That's what Reigns was saying the next day.
Right.
Listen, man, genuinely surprised. I thought they've been building this up for Cody. I mean, he was undefeated. He was clean slate, including pectoral injury included win over Seth Rollins. He didn't lose any house shows. He didn't lose any televised shows. He didn't lose any pay-per-views. He came back from injury to build it up even more. A lot of the Dusty Rhodes talk as well, building up this mega story. I think, here's what I think. I really believe this. I don't think Rhodes is going to beat Reigns. I don't. Let me put it like this. In the near future, I don't think he's going to beat him.
Correct.
In the near future.
Okay. That's a
I
good way
think
to
this
put
is either going to be one or two things. They're going to drag this out, and we'll get Cody versus Reigns next year.
I'm with it.
In Mania 40 in Philly. Or what I would do, and I stand by this, Seth freaking Rollins
Also
comes full circle.
Also a great choice.
And continues to be a thorn in the side and dethrones. They continue the brotherhood angle. Not to mention, I was thinking about this right after Mania. Rollins has pinned Reigns a few times on major stages.
Correct.
He pinned him at Mania a few years ago when he cashed in the Money in the Bank.
Right.
He pinned him for the title at Money in the Bank. I think the following year, I believe, and Dean Ambrose at the time, now Jon Moxley, cashed in that same night as well. So, it makes too much sense for Rollins to not be the guy to topple the Roman Empire, which would then kickstart a Cody Rollins, because they got some unfinished business.
Of course.
And I think Rollins finally beats Cody a few times, and then Rhodes, maybe next Mania, or maybe a little time afterward, he topples Seth to finally realize the dream of that his father, never realized. Rest in peace to the American dream. That's what I would do. What about you?
So I say almost the same path, but with a totally different person. I did the same thing as I was watching, WrestleMania, and I'm going, well, that ties up the Jay and Jimmy storyline very nicely.
True.
We have a clear path with Reigns. But we have one family member left. What is Solo's role in all of this?
True.
And so,
True.
It looked like he had that clear, the wheels are turning face at the end when he helped cheat for Reigns, and then they kind of started to tip their hand Monday. I don't know if anyone out there saw the Monday Raw, but they set it up like Lesnar was actually going to tag with Rhodes, and then Lesnar immediately turned on Rhodes because Lesnar's got a Lesnar, right?
Oh yeah, true.
Where I think this is actually going is it set up this idea that Reigns could have to either defend in a tag situation or just get involved in more tags, and I think they're going to set it up that they think it's going to be him and Solo, but then he's eventually going to choose maybe say The Rock at SummerSlam as his partner instead of Solo.
That's a possibility.
And then that creates the turn for Solo to want to take on his cousin there, and we see a Reigns Solo Sikoa program. I think that's where we're ultimately going with this, because if they had Cody Rhodes win yesterday, he's literally just been there the whole time. His story just ends, and he's been a beast through all of this.
Absolutely.
And I feel that he
eventually
eventually deserves his own part in this story, whatever that might be.
Agreed. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. You mentioned Solo. I firmly believe a member of the Bloodline is going to stab Roman in the back to facilitate the Empire being toppled. Jay is low-hanging fruit to me. I don't think Jay should do it.
Correct.
Because
I agree.
I don't see him as a single star at any point. Him and his brother, they've cemented themselves. They are tag team royalty. The second Jay does that, now you have to break them up and thrust him into spotlight that I don't think he has enough star power to get. He's solidified as a tag team legend. I think Solo should be the one to stab Roman in the back, to then launch a feud with the two of them, which is only going to now build, because management is huge on Solo. Even Vince too, Jonah Jameson McMahon. Right. they're huge on Solo Sikoa. I think he'll be the one to stab Roman in the back when the Empire is toppled, against, who knows, Seth or Cody next year, Seth next year, who knows. But what I will say unequivocally, I think Roman's going to carry the title till the next Mania, till Mania 40. I really believe. I don't see him losing it this year. It doesn't make sense.
I tend to agree with that. My only concern, because I think you're 100% right from a logic standpoint. The only thing that concerns me is, and this will kind of segue into the rest of Mania, the fight that absolutely stole the show for me was the tag team turmoil, the four-way match.
Give me another. Give me
More
two Chris Tuckers.
Tucker.
More Chris Tuckers.
Is this what you want? Is this what you
Just put it on loop. We'll talk over it.
For a tag team to main event any of the nights, let alone one of the first night, which is the tone setter, It had to be historic. It was historic. Amazing long-term story. Round of applause for creative. I'm going to give that all to Triple H. Vince gets none of that. Wait. That's all Trips.
Wait a second. I think we're talking different things because the tag title to me was the second best. I'm talking about the four-way. I'm talking about the one.
Yes, with the Street Profits. Yeah. Well, both tag team actions for sure.
That one to me stole the show, and here's why I brought it up. Though.
Okay. Yes.
I think part of the purpose of that was the company gauging if we were to break up the Usos, is there enough manpower left in the tag division? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the answer was unequivocally yes. Because those 4 teams, I could have if they were a night of WrestleMania, if that was just a 5-hour fight, I would not have been mad about that. True. I could have just watched Braun run around hitting people for 5 hours, to be quite honest. When he's like the 7th most important person out of 8.
That's how you know you've got
and he can just be himself.
Yeah,
right. First of all, that's how you know you got a good thing.
Yeah.
But second of all, he's such a good supporting character. I mean, we saw it when he's been in the Wyatt family before. Mm-hmm. When he is not trying to carry the load, which in a loaded tag field he would not be. Man, it's something special, and watching Ricochet just leap all over the place is so much fun, and the Street Profits are incredible. And so my worry is that they're going to look at that and go, maybe we can get a little cute with the Usos here. Maybe they don't need to, be fighting for the tag teams all the time. And I'm hoping they just take a backseat to some of these teams. That's what I'd love to see, because honestly, all 4 of those teams prove that they deserve to be way more special and way more involved in the scene.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Montez Ford is going to be a solo star.
Yes.
It is a matter of time.
Pretty obvious.
It's a matter of time. I'm calling it right now. He is going to have his moment in the sun. Hopefully Triple H can have enough creative control to facilitate that, because Triple H loves Montez Ford. He's loved him since his NXT days. But yeah, great 2 nights. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens capturing the tag titles, dethroning the Usos. Amazing moment.
A+ for sure.
A+. Sami Zayn can Halua kick me any day of the week. Just amazing long-term story building. Charlotte Flair and Rhea, again, put on a round of applause for those 2 ladies. Put on an amazing show match. Went back and forth. I'm watching that in a Sprinter van driving from Massachusetts to Massachusetts. Like, oh my God. I think Charlotte might have her. I think Rhea might have her. I was like, Rhea has to finally beat her, and boom, riptide from the top rope. Great 2 nights. We'll table this. We'll save the Vince talk for the next sports talk for sure, because that is we could do a whole show on just that.
Absolutely.
On Jonah Jameson McMahon.
We could just meme that mustache for 60 minutes.
That'll be the thumbnail for this episode.
Oh my gosh.
Lord, Major Bison looking guy.
That's terrifying.
but amazing night. Round of applause once again for WWE for putting on 2 amazing nights. And we'll see where this goes. SummerSlam will be here before you know it. Survivor Series will be here before you know it, and we'll keep the party rolling. But let's keep the party rolling. By the way, like the video, subscribe to the channel. As always, we are on episode 17 of the U-Goboy podcast, live from Bravery Studios. Aaron Judge is here. Aaron Judge is here. He's here. And we'll get to some MLB talk. We'll wrap with MLB talk. But let's get to NFL free agency. Agency. Oh my goodness. So. Let's start with your Jet. Can we get a J? Is it loaded? Is the clip loaded for some Jets talk? I mean, is it? There we go. And can I get a how about them Cowboys? Oh man! Before we get to our respective teams, lots of sauce there, lots of gravy, depending on what part of Italy you're talking about.
There you go. You learned a whole lot.
I did.
Very impressive.
I did. Oh man, Lamar Jackson. Yes. We talked about on the last sports talk. Where does this saga go this year? Like, I've heard a little bit of everything. I've heard that he's going to refuse to play on the tag. He'll sit out, which I doubt. I doubt he's going to forfeit $32 million. That's just me. I've heard that all in all, they will come to an agreement on maybe a shorter term deal, maybe a 3-year deal. Like, okay, we'll give you fully guaranteed. We'll cave just to give you the 2 or 3 years. The TV money's coming in. There'll be more on the table. We'll do a shorter deal. And I've heard he'll be traded to insert quarterback needy team that's lying right now during draft week saying, yeah, we're not interested. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, they're doing their due diligence. Mm-hmm. Where do you see the Lamar Jackson saga ending before we get to more free agency talk?
Yeah, I'm. Man, when I tell you I'm not certain, it would make for bad radio here if I just said nowhere. But that's where I ultimately see him going. They will find a way to find a contract. I do not think the Ravens believe in Tyler Huntley enough. No. I think they know that they are ultimately desperate. They need to make the move. I think the Jets. I mean, I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I think the Jets finalized the deal for Rodgers. And then when you do the math. Everyone who needs a quarterback of the future can still then go get a rookie. It really lines up very nicely for everyone to be where they are. So the only way, to me, the Ravens don't end up with Lamar Jackson is if one of the teams who is in position to draft one of the rookies trades out. Mm-hmm. But when you look at that, it really doesn't make sense for Carolina to have moved up to 1 to then move out. Why would you do that in the first place?
Agreed.
Word on the street is the Titans are trying to get up to get in there. The Titans are most likely not making that deal with the Ravens. I don't see the Ravens sending them to an AFC team, period, if they do move them.
Absolutely not.
So that would also knock out the Colts. So you're really running out of viable options. The one move that maybe makes sense would be the Bucs. And I guess I wouldn't rule that out, but at the same time, it makes so much sense that why wouldn't it have happened already? The Bucs are not necessarily in absolute position to get a quarterback, so why would you not take the short deal and pay up? We know that team is talented enough that with a quarterback, any future first rounders they're giving up to get that deal with Jackson are not going to be high picks. So that would be the only team that makes so much sense that the fact that it hasn't happened is a question mark. I think the other holdup right now is when you look at mock drafts, and again, I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but Will Levis is a bit of a wild card. He seems to range anywhere from 4 to 20, which means some teams in the middle, like even a team like the Jets, if they have any doubt Aaron Rodgers is not coming over, they then, before they do anything else, they have to ask themselves, how obtainable is Will Levis? Even if it's not at their pick, there have been some where he ends up going at 11. Well, you can definitely get to 9 or 10 pretty easily by moving up.
Much easier.
So if it was a lock that they were definitely going 1, 2, 3, 4, I think you would see this getting done sooner. But Levis just puts a tiny bit of fluctuation in how this is all going to play out.
Oh, yeah. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Dom DeMarco. Couple Dom DeMarcos. We get 2.
Dom DeMarco.
Good stuff. So that's Lamar Jackson. Let's segue to your beloved Jets. I think it's a formality. I think Aaron Peyote, Rodgers, he's out of his dark place. By dark place, I mean
literally.
Literally,
that's literal.
Literally, yes. I see it happening. I think you guys in the pack were wrestling over draft compensation, and I think that happy medium is finally going to come to a head. I think what goes into it as well is the you guys aren't sure how long he wants to play.
Correct.
And that has affected it as well. Like, why would we give up a 1 for a guy that's just going to play 1 year? If he can give us 2, if Rodgers can unequivocally be like, I'll give you 2 years. I'll host Jeopardy in 2 years from now. It's not going anywhere. I will give you 2 years. I can sign on to that. Yeah, absolutely. You'd ask for 1. Why wouldn't you? Two cracks at it with him in a loaded AFC, but still with Aaron Rodgers at peak Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, you take that. But the fact that he's year to year, no. Why would you give up that contract compensation? So I think you guys are gonna there'll be some swaps. There'll be some pick swaps.
Right.
And we're talking the 2 to 3 to 4 range, similar to the Christian McCaffrey deal from earlier in the year that. The Panthers made with the 49ers, but I think the deal it's just a foregone conclusion. How confident are you that Rodgers for a year ? Opens up your Super Bowl window, let alone playoff window? Because I already thought you guys were a playoff team before him, but are you thinking Super Bowl with Rodgers as a Jet fan?
Yeah.
Give me Chris Tucker just for that side.
Yeah, this is what we want.
Is it?
I'll say this. This is what we're getting. If we ever have an hour free here at Bravery Studios, like literally if there's just an open hour and you want to just let me talk on a mic about all the reasons I'm not crazy about this and all the reasons I think this might go wrong, I'm here for it. But if we're living in a world where Aaron Rodgers is coming over, again, we talked about this a lot of times when I was on during the football season. It's the old who you taking out. When they kept saying, "Oh, the Jets are definitely a playoff team if they had anyone else at quarterback." Well, who were they better than? The Ravens were a better team last year. The Dolphins were a better team. I think we're now a better team than them with Aaron Rodgers, especially with neither one knowing what's going on at their quarterback position. So I think we're at least a playoff team. You're talking first wild card probably, even if we're not better than Buffalo. So you're looking at, the 5 seed. I think we're better than anything. I think we're better than the Jags. I think we are. I think we can definitely, win that first game. And now it's a path where you have to go through Buffalo and through Kansas City in January. Should I be sitting here telling you that anyone can win the Super Bowl doing that? No, absolutely not. That's not a lock for anybody. True. But if you're not going to be as good of a team as those guys, you might as well have somebody who can just literally crapshoot you through it. True. And if Tom Brady's not magically coming back again, that's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is now the new Tom Brady where, throughout the age, throughout the history, just know that he has a way about him where he can beat anyone on any given night, which they currently didn't have. The defense is still great. They did a tremendous, tremendous job of plugging very, very tiny holes in free agency. They upgraded at punter. They got a fullback. They got some depth in the middle of the offensive line. They went out and traded for Chuck Clark, which I think the last thing I said to you when we last spoke was, boy, how do they need a second safety? Yeah. None of these are earth movers on their own, but when you look at what they already had, that elite defense and a core of wide receivers that they then added to, they don't need much, and Rodgers will make them a complete team for sure.
True, and you'll get Tucker back, right, from injury. You'll get
Chris Tucker?
No, not Chris Tucker. Yeah, Chris Tucker. There it is. Give me like 5 savages for that. That was well done.
It's like Pee Wee's play. It's like Pee Wee's Playhouse. You said
Chris Tucker
said the secret word.
I was talking to Elijah Barrett Tucker. I know he was too.
And
we're gonna wrap right there. We're done.
You're just cut it right there. And
you'll get him and Brees and Hall back. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So those are kind of like
both first round picks.
Yeah,
right.
and those are off-season acquisitions when you think about it.
Absolutely.
So that makes you unequivocally better. Just off those 2 moves.
And that's what makes this whole thing just a big dog and pony show because. As of right now, the Jets are scheduled to have 6 draft picks this year, 1 first and 2 seconds. And obviously, you want to win. Always, we got to win this trade. That's what the word we always use. What are we doing if we don't get Rodgers? I mean, there's give
me like 3 Ric Flairs for that, please. What are we doing?
We desperately need an offensive tackle. So keep that first round pick if you can. But then after that. Maybe an upgrade at defensive tackle over Solomon Thomas would be nice. Some depth at linebacker, but I mean, it's a very deep draft for offensive linemen. We can definitely replenish in the 4th, 5th round. We have time. I got a couple names I love. I'll talk to you about those later. Okay. Otherwise, we definitely don't need a single receiver. The cornerback depth is insane. Going out and re-signing, Quincy Williams not only is going to attract Quinnen Williams to want to come back, but makes our linebacking core. Pretty solid. We have more tight ends than we literally know what to do with. I don't even know if we need 6 picks, and we definitely don't need a full complement of picks next year because everyone's pretty decently under contract for a while. Just use those picks, get the guy we need, which is a quarterback, and let's move on because this at this point is just for pride. It's nuts that this is still going on.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's a matter of when, not if. Rodgers will be probably by the time this episode comes out. He'll be a Jet. He'll be a Jet. Now, keeping it moving with the Cowboys. Let me get a how about them Cowboys, please. Please, por favor. It's coming. Thank you. Dallas Go-Boy texted me. He's all just a whole bunch of exclamation points. He didn't even say anything. He just exclamation points when the Cooks deal happened, when the Gilmore trade happened. First and foremost, round of applause for the front office of the Dallas Cowboys. I can't remember the last time I did that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good year. Good offseason.
It's a great offseason. The only person I ever give a round of applause to is Will McClay, the real GM of the team that nobody knows about, who doesn't really follow the Cowboys. And this is Will McClay. This is Will McClay season, the draft upcoming. There's a reason why the Cowboys knock it out of the ballpark every year with the draft. It's not because of Jerry Jones. It's definitely not because of Stephen Jones. It's because of Will McClay. So round of applause for Will McClay. Before I tee this up, but 2 very, very solid moves to get 2 proven players with proven track records. They're not declining players. They are players still in their prime. Last year, Gilmore was still a top 10 corner, and Brandon Cooks, who's been catching passes from bus drivers and substitute teachers for the past few years in Houston, he still put up numbers So a healthy Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb, with a healthier Michael Gallup, and more than likely a receiver that they're going to draft in the top 100. I think that's going to happen too. The Cowboy offense is going to be better. And round of applause too for Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke's going to get his flowers. I still have my Zeke jersey. I'm not going to play the sad music. No sad music. No sad music. Zeke gave Dallas great years, great value. It was a terrible second contract. Me and Mongo both cringed at it. But listen, his first 4 years, his first 4 to 5 years in Dallas were all you can ask for from a first-round pick. Multiple rushing titles, multiple Pro Bowls, All-Pro, led them to a 13-3 record his rookie year, and back-to-back 12-5 records. It's Tony Pollard's world, and we're all living in it now.
For sure.
And they're definitely going to draft a running back. Yeah. We'll get into the draft shortly. But Dallas is poised to, same bat time, same bat channel. I see 12 wins again. I really don't see, if they win 11 games, if there's a drop-off, to go from 12 wins to 11 or 10 with this offseason and another amazing draft class that's on the way, I would consider that a failure going into the tournament. That's just me, So I see 12 wins. I really do. It's going to be them in Philly. The Giants they'll be good enough, I think, to get in the tournament too as a wild card. But one more time, round of applause for the Cowboy front office. I have nothing bad to say about Jera and Catboy. That's what the Cowboy fans call Stephen Jones, Catboy. So you have a question?
Yeah, not a question. I want to just kind of, for the Cowboy haters out there, which is basically everyone who doesn't root for the Cowboys. I just want to change.
Facts. Get 2 Ric Flairs for that, please. That's just true.
It's right. It's not wrong. I want to just change what you said to put it slightly more, objective. How I feel about the Cowboys this year is, it's such a short season and so much can happen and so many more changes can be made. To sit here and say, oh, definitely 12 down to an 11 is a failure when last year the NFC was quite easy at times.
It was the Pac-12.
Right. That's not terribly fair. But I'll say this. The depth that they've added and the development we've seen from some of their young players, if we're just sitting around come July or August and you're telling me we can either take the over on 11.5 for this year or we can go back in a time machine and do it on last year's team, I'd feel much safer about it this time around because fair. And obviously we know what happens.
Yeah.
But you get my point. This team feels much safer than last year's. Last year's felt like it was a Diggs or a Parsons injury away from going 3 and 14.
A top 5 pick. True.
They feel much safer this year. They feel like they have much more depth. They feel like they have much more definition. Last year it felt like, especially with Zeke Elliott, it felt like, are we a young upstart team? Are we building around these pillars that are going to retire as lifelong Cowboys? Especially getting Zeke out of there, it's like you said, it's now much more Tony Pollard's world. It's much more we're going for depth at receiver versus I still love CeeDee Lamb, but I think we've given up on this world where CeeDee Lamb can be like a DeAndre Hopkins, where CeeDee Lamb and 5 guys who will go on to pump gas later this week, can no longer be a receiving core. With all due respect, I can't. I'll let you know when I can name a second Cardinal. But
Steve Preston.
There you go. But you get my point. They're definitely going for quantity over quality. When it comes to filling out this roster, and I think for who they have so far, that's a really good idea. And so I think it's a much safer team. Even if the wins or the stats don't necessarily reflect that to a T this year.
Absolutely. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We've got a NFL Draft Super Show on the way later this month. Also, some big guests on the way. I'll announce those on Instagram and TikTok as well when they are absolutely confirmed. Me and Mongo know them off camera. We're not going to announce anything on camera, but some goodies on the way. It's exciting, isn't it?
So he's roped me into this, but he has not told me the news yet. So now my mind's going through like, I don't know that many people. Who could this possibly be?
On the way. This is going to be a special year.
This is very exciting.
It's going to be a special year.
Can't wait. Can't wait, Bart Scott.
Yeah, exactly. And I still need to get that drop. What are you most excited for this upcoming draft? Just preview it real quick.
So, unfortunately, I suffer from a condition called TJBM. more commonly known as the Jets broke me.
And we need two savages for that too. To go.
Savage.
And so having watched us double down on USC quarterbacks over the last 15 years,
Lordy.
Most people look at this and see 4 elite quarterbacks at the top of this draft, and that's what you should be excited for. Unfortunately, I look at Bryce Young and I think of AJ McCarron, or I think of Greg McElroy. I look at CJ Stroud and I think of JT Barrett and Braxton Miller and all of them. And then the rest of this draft is Stetson Bennett, who has been described as, they've used Chad Henne as a verb to describe him. I don't know if you've seen that, but he needs to.
You gotta send me that. I gotta see
Chad Henne his way into a backup role is how they've described him.
Wow.
And then the rest of the field are guys who couldn't beat Stetson Bennett
in college.
I mean, so I personally am kind of glad the Jets are not a part of this, but for the average fan who has a tiny bit of hope left somewhere in their soul, it's the great year for quarterbacks. It's actually a very weird draft because basically the way this works is if you need a guard or a safety, just wait till next year. Just get out of there.
True.
But otherwise, it's loaded everywhere, and so it makes trading a very unique situation. Like for me personally, as a Jet fan, one of the talks, like you were alluding to, is which picks are we not going to have, 25 days from now? And some people are a lot of people are thinking it's going to be the seconds this year, the first in the future. So we'd end up having a first, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth.
Or conditional. I think a conditional might get tossed in there.
Right.
A 3 that can turn to a 2, or 2 that can turn to a 1. I see that being the final thing that gets it over the finish line.
Correct. But the idea here being we might be able to keep that first. I think I'd rather actually keep the seconds. Just because of the sneaky depth from it's one of those drafts where like from 10 down to 50 is not that different. If we keep our first, I think we end up going with one of the 3 big offensive tackles. But you could sign me up for like a Matthew Bergeron out of Syracuse in the second, and a guy who I don't know if you've heard this name yet, but he's being attached to the Cowboys, Keanu Benton, the defensive tackle out of Wisconsin.
Yes.
Who's only that low because he's considered more of a finesse defensive tackle. I really think that's where we're going. You look at a guy like Quinnen Williams, he's not going to, Vince Wilfork all over. He's not going to Tony Saragusa right through you. But that's where we're going. And I think about 5 years from now, we're going to see a lot of defensive tackles who were considered steals in the draft because they weren't. It's like Vince McMahon. They didn't look like a defensive tackle, so we didn't sign. We didn't draft them.
Right.
And so, I think you're going to see a lot of day 2 is going to be where I think the winner of this draft ultimately gets determined.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I think this is an excellent year to be picking between 15 and 32 in the first round. Mind you, really it's 15 and 31 because the Dolphins forfeited their pick, so that automatically moves everybody up in the second half. I'm with you too. I'm locked into all 3 days because I'm just.
I don't leave the couch.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
It's an excuse to get snacks and nerd out.
Right.
But day 2 is you're gonna get a lot of guys that are gonna contribute immediately in day 2 in rounds 2 through 3. I think these quarterbacks are being hyped a little bit too much outside of. I love CJ Stroud, but then again, ghost of Ohio State quarterbacks past still follows him. It just does because I'm still not sold on Fields. I think Fields is a good quarterback, but I saw some and Michael Lombardi retweeted it too. Somebody from one of the hot take networks slated Justin Fields as the #1 quarterback in the NFC coming into next season, which is Comedy Central presents. Can I get the three Ric Flairs for that? Well, I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, that's just a whoops. I was only turning the mic and just go whoops at that moment. That's a mistake.
Lord have mercy.
And just shout out to one of my best friends, Dan. He's an Ohio State alum. He's going to hear this and be very mad at us. We're not saying it's fair.
No,
just to make that clear, we're just saying that the math is there, right?
Yes. we just report the facts here.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, the Anthony Richardson love affair is comical to me because. Mind you, he has all the tools and he's got all the traits, but I've heard that before from guys like, I don't know, Jake Locker, from Jamarcus Russell, you see what I'm saying, like from Christian Ponder, like they do this with Zach Wilson. I know that's gonna rub you the wrong way, but again, I've got to see it. I've got to see it before Mel Kiper and Todd McShay and everybody beats me over the head and tries to convince me that this guy can throw from his back 90 yards. What would he do? Can you read coverages? Can you throw people open? You know what I mean? Can you lead an offense? Can you run an NFL pro style offense? Can you do that? Because that's more important to me than 7-on-7s with tights and shorts and Nike trainers if you could throw a ball 90 yards and hit the goalpost. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Right, and the other problem here is, other than Tannehill being there if Tennessee moves up and he can, buy some time, the teams that are projected to get quarterbacks, they do not have elite offensive line.
No, they don't.
They do not have tight ends,
veteran
tight ends who can be
Dom
outlets.
DeMarco for that. They do not.
And
a cannon for that too.
They
Cannon.
no one can sit around for 2 years.
Cannon.
These are not good environments that these guys are going to be coming into, which is certainly
Not going to help their development at all.
You look at the Baker Mayfield group; it was the same thing. No one was coming into a terribly good position, and that's half the battle in the league, right?
Facts.
And so, that also concerns me as well. You almost hope, for some of these guys do drop. If Will Levis was the one I was giving the example to, but if Anthony Richardson could cool off a little and get to just a slightly better franchise, I do like him. But if he just spends the first 2 years just straight up David Carr and just running for his life,
or Joey Harrington,
that's not going to be good for anybody, because the problem is, in a world where the Titans are like, Malik Willis, you didn't do it in 8 games, you're out. Desmond Ridder, they're already talking about possibly moving on from Atlanta. Zach Wilson, long gone. You have such a short leash that if your team can't do it in the first couple years through no fault of your own, you're gone.
Agreed. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll table this and continue this absolutely for the Draft Super Show. I just had to get on my soapbox because they do this every year, and you felt the sting personally, obviously with Zach Wilson. But how many other fans of fan bases who get these top 5 picks or these top 10 picks that they've been hit over the head for months that this guy is the second coming of John Elway or the second coming of Joe Montana or Troy Aikman, and then they can't play.
Right.
Or they have an offensive line that exacerbates the fact that they can't play.
Right. Let's take a look around the league real quick. It happened to the Jets with Zach Wilson. It happened to the Jets with Sam Darnold. It happened to the Jets with Mark Sanchez. You get where I'm going with this. It's a franchise issue. It happens to yes, okay, it does happen to everybody sometimes, but there's a reason that when they put out these make you want to read them 50 biggest busts of the last 50 years. There's a reason that almost all of them are on Cleveland, Oakland, or now Las Vegas, and the Jets. Certain franchises can't do it. They have to manufacture other ways, like going out and borrowing Aaron Rodgers for a year. So it really location. We say that we say that everywhere on earth. It's just as true here.
Facts. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to wrap here, but real quick question, rapid fire, real quick. Does Aaron Judge hit 50 or more home runs this year?
Yes.
Do the Yankees win the World Series this year?
No.
Do the Astros win the World Series this year?
Yes.
Does Anthony Volpe make the All-Star team?
No. But he gets some love in those people who got screwed out articles.
Okay. Does Garrett Cole win more than 15 games?
No.
Ooh, nice. Do the Yankees win the AL East?
Yes, but it's shockingly close between Toronto, Tampa Bay, and New York.
True. Will it be, this is the last one and then we'll wrap. Will it be Yankees, Astros at some point?
100%. You can basically just bring it right back. It's like a year never happened.
Round of applause. All right, we'll wrap here. This has been Sports Talk. We will continue this. Mongo will be back. Get that guy's face. That bearded face will be back. Super Show on the way. More Sports Talk episodes on the way. More guests on the way. One more time, round of applause. Thank you guys for watching as always. And we're going to sign off like this. That's the belt. That's the other belt. That's Aaron Judge. That's Mongo. I'm U-Goboy. Love you guys.
U-Goboy.
Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga. Whoa. Woo. Secure the bag. I need more. Hey, 3P Jordan. Whoa. Woo. I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe. I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme with my niggas in Amsterdam.
You go, boy.
Yahtzee.